Hello! Let us know if you can hear us okay. The standard, make sure my volume isn't crap. So if it's too loud, if it's too quiet, if you can't hear me at all, or this guy, say something, Danny.
I'm saying something. Hi.
Let us know in the chat. I'm Gory B Movie. This is my husband, Danny Knightmare from Horror Addicts, which, by the way, if you're subscribed to me and you're not subscribed to Horror Addicts, you can get even more me and more Danny over on that channel. Occasionally our boy Lulz joins us. He's a half demon, so he's got important demon shit to do, but occasionally he shows up, so it's a nice little surprise. All of you in the chat, I'm so happy to have you guys joining us. Nice to see Annabelle Roman, my girl Beth from 80s music and can't speak. 80s music. Okay, it's that channel that you can see here, this one. My buddy Brandon the Beldam, Kevin from Haunted by Horror, my buddy Ariel. Hey Harley, good to see you, girl. And Arkham Knight Rider, good to see you. Axon. Thanks, guys. Great to see everybody. And it sounds good. That's good. That's good. And thank you for the compliment on the intro. I made that for Ghouls Night Out. I do need to make another one. That's like not just exclusively women. It's got some creatures in there and some dudes. But I do like that intro because I do think it showcases a lot of great women of horror.
Yeah, I like it. Pretty rad.
And the song is by Incompetent, Kevin McLaughlin. I think it slaps, as the kids say.
Yeah.
So you guys know why we are here today. We are celebrating the last drive-in. And not even just the last drive-in. We're celebrating a couple things. We're celebrating 40 years of Joe Bob Briggs with his very first article that he published for the newspaper he was working for, which was of Anthropophagus. From there, he went to the movie channel, and I could be skipping some here. I'm not claiming to be an expert, but roughly his history. He went to the movie channel. He took over for Penn and Teller on Monster Vision, which is where I discovered him, because I was a big Monster Vision fan from when that started. And then bit of a gap. Well, there was also Last Call and some other TNT things. And then we finally got this big, massive marathon on Shudder. And it was meant to be a one-time gig. And the mutants showed up. We broke the internet. And now we get season after season and specials. And they're doing the Jamboree. And they're doing the Haunted Drive-In. For a man who's nearly 70... he's pretty fucking active. Like, I'm not even that outgoing, but damn, I have never known, and I'm including Darcy in this, I've never known any two people who appreciate their fans, show love for their fans, who show up for their fans as much as Joe Bob Briggs and Darcy.
Yeah. Movie Massacre said he'd take me out for dinner, but only if I dress up in drag again. I actually asked Gory, are we gonna be in drag when she showed me the thumbnail? She's like, all right.
Our drag. So yeah, we are big fans. We're gonna get a little more depth in how we got into Joe Bob in just a minute. The other thing we're celebrating tonight that I just want to cover really quick is the 100th movie that was shown on the last drive-in, which was Night of the Living Dead. You can't get any more classic than that. So this has gone from supposed to be a one-time marathon to something that's shown 101 movies. And it doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon. It's incredible. And one of the best things about it is just, the mutant fam, to be able to watch it with everybody, see everybody interacting with each other on Twitter. Like, that to me is as much fun as watching the show. And so it's just a big love fest. It's crazy that something that's about gore and blood and violence is really, when you're a part of it, it's a big love fest.
Yeah. We're a very loving community. Despite what a lot of people probably would think outside of it. It seems scary and stuff, but actually we love to promote horror. As for the Night of the Living Dead, like, that is definitely a classic. In fact, when I think, if you say any horror movie like Game Changer, that's probably number one on my list. That definitely changed a lot of things. Not just in horror, but just in movies in general.
Harley says, Joe Bob is a legit badass. I grew up watching him like so many others. He's such a cool guy. True words there, Harley. True words. By the way, Harley has got a great channel. I'm a recent subscriber, but a mega fan. Absolutely check her out because she knows what's up. Okay, so I think we're going to start by basically showing our Joe Bob stripes here. Showing some of the things we've collected, some of the things we've done to show our fandom. Obviously, wearing my exclusive JBB shirt that I got from being a member of their Patreon, which if you're not, their last Lost Drive-In Patreon Darcy has full access to the full JBB archive. So she shows things from the movie channel, Monster Vision, tons of stuff that's, we thought was lost. And she shares it and they answer questions and they're really interactive and it's super fun and you get exclusive gifts.
Yeah, you should definitely think about joining up their Patreon. Sometimes she even posts stuff like free, even if you're not a member, you can still watch it on there because try to hook you in. I would definitely check it out if anything. In fact, I think you got an awesome poster there from the Patreon.
I did, but it's way up there, so I'm not going to be able to show them. But yeah, eventually I'll show a picture of it.
I hear there's either going to be a calendar next year, or maybe they did make one. I don't know. Either way, check into that.
We have a lot of the shirts that you can get from Fright Rags. Mm-hmm. But what are some of the other things we have?
Well, we got these awesome tumblers.
Oh yeah, that has the drive-in oath. We're gonna get to this in a minute.
In fact, that's the poster right there.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, we have this cool little record. It's got a couple little songs on it. The Zombie Jamboree, the Monster Mash. I do like the zombie picture more though. Even though this is like the popular picture of the Monster Mash, I prefer the zombie one. We have
leaped at myself.
We got the Christmas edition figures. I do have an autographed one of Joe Bob, but I didn't bring it. It's in my man cave on my wall, so I didn't bring it. We have Christmas figures. Ernie. We got puzzles. 3D puzzles.
These are from Messed Up Puzzles. This one's 3D, and it came with 3D glasses. Yeah, Messed Up Puzzles is almost exclusively horror puzzles, and they have everything from Maniac to JBB to Elvira. They were a lot of fun.
And we got the Darcy one as well. It's not 3D, but it's awesome. Pin up.
This was hard.
Yeah, this one was like probably the hardest puzzle we've ever done.
Because so much black, just black background. That's just undifferential from the other pieces.
At the very end of this, I figured out that there was kind of just a pattern, and that's how I managed to crack it. But it was a tough puzzle.
Got a couple new people showing up. Nice to see you, Bat Quinn. Great to see you. And she also has a lot of Joe Bob memorabilia. One of these days, she's going to update the photo on Twitter. And I hope I'm not saying this wrong, but Terrence Megana? Hopefully I'm saying that right. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yes, thank you. And yes, if you guys want to support this stream, this channel is not monetized, but there are still so many ways you can support, like what you're doing right now. Watching the stream helps out a ton. You can give us a thumbs up. That helps a lot. And check out other videos. Also, I do have a Patreon. If you ever want to join the B Movie Coven, over on Patreon, I got a few extra things there. We're going to start doing some more movie watch parties and stuff here soon. And it's a fun way to support the channel. Danny also has a Patreon for horror addicts.
More like a Horror Addicts Anonymous type thing. And you'll see lots of blooper videos starring Gory as well. Also, your mummy made us these little custom Joe Bob and Darcy Legos.
Those are cute.
I know they're not like canon, but I'm proud of them regardless.
Nice to see you, DMC Campbell.
We also have like lots of shirts. You got the pajama pants. They haven't came in the mail yet, but we got the talking plushies. So there you go. They dropped the same night the season 4 came out, so I had to wake up early in the morning to get them.
And let's look at our Joe Bob and Darcy cosplay. We just visited them for Halloween last year. There's Danny. Danny is kind of hot as a chick. So, like, I'm pan. Like, it doesn't matter to me what he decides to do.
That's Danny with an eye.
If my husband ever decides to be a woman full time,
too much work.
like, I'm here for it. Like, he makes a hot lady. I think he's hotter as a lady than I am. So a little jealous, but mostly just happy.
I like to let my feminine side out. Her name's Danny with an eye.
And I think that's awesome. And then there's me as JBB. I don't think I'm as handsome a guy as Danny is a girl, but it was still fun to dress up as JBB.
I mean, J-Bob.
Who is my hero. Darcy's my hero. I adore both of them. We also met them at Crypticon, and I thought I had that. Oh, here it is. Here's the picture of that. We met them at Crypticon, and they were super nice in person. We went to their booth a few different times and just like not at all in a hurry. They were just really gracious and easy to talk to and super sweet. And I mean, they even remembered us from our show because we had sent them Oscars that they accepted on the Halloween hoedown.
Yeah. In fact, later I want to show our little Oscar tribute video, but not right now. Meeting them was great. That was the second time we met Joe Bob. Like we met him before he did his comeback. He did a Crypticon by himself before the last drive-in was a show, and that was great meeting him. I gave him a screenplay because I wrote a screenplay specifically for him. This time I gave Darcy a screenplay because I'm really trying to get this movie made, and I really would like her to
And Tony's here, our good buddy, who 10 out of 10 would bang Darcy Dan. So there you go. If I die, you've already got bids to replace me.
I think what? I think he's saying 10 out of 10. Oh, Darcy Dan. Oh
Yeah.
No, sorry, homie. We're just friends, homie.
I'm just saying, don't dismiss it.
I thought he was.
Don't dismiss it until you kiss it. That should be basically our pan anthem.
See, I read that all differently. I thought he was saying 10 out of 10. I would bang Darcy Dan, like he was telling Dan me that he'd bang Darcy.
No,
All right, he banged Darcy Dan. Or
Darcy Dan.
Danny the male girl.
He would bang you, dude.
Danny the
That's
male
super
girl. That's super
sweet.
sweet.
That's awesome. Oh, and thank you, Michael Kelly, for subscribing. We now have these little pop-ups that come up and let me know when you guys subscribe. So that's super cool. Though, yeah, I didn't hear the little thingy, but well, hopefully it played. Anyway, that's super cool. Thank you, Michael Kelly. And new in the chat here, at least the first time I've noticed them, I do try to remember you guys. I try to remember you guys and your names. Podcast in the Woods. Good evening, Boomer here. So excited for the stream. Welcome. So great to see you.
Also looking forward to meeting the Movie Massacre show at this year's Crypticon. Sadly, Joe Bob and Darcy won't be at this one. They were at last year's, but Elvira's coming, so that's gonna be great. I would like to. Looking forward to meeting.
And Graveyard Grog. Did I say that right? Graveyard Grog. Nice to see you as well. So let's talk about the beginnings of Joe Bob. So, I was a teenager in the 90s, so I certainly wasn't familiar with him in his early days when he was writing articles. My introduction to Joe Bob was Monster Vision. So, yeah, this is Joe Bob and Monster Vision. He was so handsome. He's still handsome, but definitely very handsome. This was my introduction. The male girl was Rusty, and I just loved him. He was so, it was fun because for me, I didn't have a lot of friends who watched horror. And so watching Monster Vision, I felt like I was watching horror movies with a bunch of horror geeks all over the country. And here was Joe Bob. And what I loved about Joe Bob is he would show movies that I loved, like Friday the 13th films and some cheesy ass movies that, even people I love, like Elvira, would make fun of a lot of the movies that I liked. And that was kind of the horror host shtick. Is that, they kind of mystery science theater, like they were being punished to watch these movies. And there's always part of me that was like, but I kind of actually like them. So what does that say about me? And Joe Bob was the first horror host I ever saw where he was like, no, these are good. I mean, he'll tell you when he doesn't like something, but a lot of the stuff that people would pass off as not being of good quality, he would be like, no, 4 out of 4 stars. It's awesome.
No, he helped me. Monster Vision was my introduction as well. Shortly after Monster Vision, I got into that. My Uncle Ray had a VHS, which I believe had the movie show, and it had like his 1001 Maniacs that he did for that on VHS. But that's how I learned that he did stuff before Monster Vision. But I didn't know about it until Monster Vision.
From the movie show.
Yeah. And so I got to see some older stuff later. And now with the internet, you can see a lot of it, especially thanks to Darcy. That's like really digging some of this stuff out. But yeah, I would record Monster Vision on VHS myself. I liked TNT at the time because I was big into WCW wrestling, and Joe Bob was also on there. So TNT was actually a channel that I liked back when I used to watch cable. I don't watch cable anymore, but I loved that channel because they had Monster Vision and they had WCW, and I think even later they had like a cool Mortal Kombat live action show. But yeah, I was always watching Joe Bob. I would set my VCR to record, like because I knew that I had like cousins and stuff, and friends, a lot of friends, because we'd have to rent movies at VHS mom and pops, even Vidal Video and Hollywood Video and Blockbuster Video back when those were a thing. But yeah, I would settle. I wouldn't mind watching some of those censored horror movies because it would come with Joe Bob commentary, and he helped me feel like, yeah, horror can be cool because a lot of people, me and my friends loved horror, but we were kind of outcasts in Hollywood in high school anyways. But Joe Bob was like, I don't know, someone on TV who loved it too. Made us feel cool for liking it as well.
And he never discriminated among his fans either. Like, they would read letters from people in prison, but he was never like making fun of them or anything. Like, he genuinely was appreciative of his fans who were inmates, and it was just kind of like, hey, I know you're bored and you're sitting there and doing nothing, but you know, you can be part of the show. So like, it's just how inclusive he is with his entire fan base is just really, really cool. And then the other thing I did like about him is you never felt like he was a slave to the network. You never felt like he was spinning you something that wasn't true. Like, he would flat out tell you, oh, they censored the boobs out of this, you know? Or like Friday the 13th, one of the most memorable marathons he did, he actually goes backstage. He's like, come on, we can't keep censoring this. Like, this is like, he was practically revolting, and you could tell it wasn't a bit, because he would make comments all the time about the censorship of the movies that he had to show.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it was on, cable with TNT. But I remember instead of them just cutting scenes out, they would switch to blur. He'd still complain about how it has to be blurred, but at least it was there. Like a Return of the Living Dead, even though she's dancing there naked, yes, she's blurry, but at least it's in there. They didn't just completely skip the scene. So I would appreciate that, and I like how he talked about it. Same thing. Kind of competition was Up All Night on USA, which I love that show as well. But and rest in peace, Double G, Gilbert Gottfried. But
yes, USA Up All Night. So, before we continue with our walk down memory lane of Joe Bob, by the way, I didn't organize this super well, so we're going to be a little all over the place. Just bear with us. So, we're having a conversation with you just like we would if you were in our living room right now. So, yeah, Joe Bob also stand-up comedian. That's how he also knew Gilbert Gottfried and, Norm Macdonald and a lot of, unfortunately, comedians that passed away. He met a lot of them from his stand-up comedy. He would do, live drive-in events. And one of the biggest parts of the drive-in event is you have to do the drive-in oath. So I would like all of you to put up your right hand. And together, I can hear you. I have exceptional.
Hey, you, hand up.
I have exceptional hearing, so I can hear you whether you're on the East Coast or in another dang country. I can hear you. I am a witch. So, yes, raise your right hand and repeat after us as we do the drive-in oath. We are drive-in mutants. We are not like other people. We are sick. We are disgusting. We believe in blood and breasts and beasts. If life had a vomit meter, we'd be off the scale. As long as one drive-in remains on planet Earth, we will party like jungle animals. We will boogie till we puke. Heads will roll. The drive-in will never die. All right, thank you. A couple of you were a little quiet, but I still heard you.
In the back. Speak up next time.
Yeah, Tony, come on. You're one of the closer ones, and I thought you were a little pitchy, actually.
Stop using your hands and put them up.
Yes.
I know what you were using.
And I like what Beth did, putting that hand up in the chat. There you go. There you go. Awesome. Okay, so yeah, then Monster Vision canceled Joe Bob. And he basically said since he was canceled, he was done. He's like, they canceled me, so you don't get any more Joe Bob. Like he said that for a long time. And I believe the story I read from the interview with Darcy is she went to see a John Bloom event. John Bloom obviously is the man behind Joe Bob Briggs, who plays the character. And she went there dressed up as a male girl.
In fact, she was wearing my male girl cosplay. That's the same one she wore to meet him. The one that I used to cosplay as her.
But this wasn't a drive-in event. It was for the publication of his book, so there was like a lot of nerds and stuff
Very
there.
science book.
And she felt a little awkward. Like, she almost went home. Somebody else who was attending the event was like, no. You went to so much work. Like, you need to go meet him. She's a massive fan. And so she's like, okay. So she goes up and she meets him. And, he's really happy to meet her. And she's just like, we need you to come back. Like now more than ever. And he's like, I don't know. I don't think it would work in modern day is what he was saying. He was saying, with IMDb and Wikipedia, why do you need me? And she's like, because you're you. Like, we like you. Even if we already know the information, even if we've already seen the movie, we want to hear you talk about it because we love you. Yeah. And so he's like, oh, okay. So she really spearheaded this idea that Joe Bob would come back to Shudder for this marathon.
He agreed to do it as long as she would be the mail girl.
And that's the thing, she was really shy. I mean, she is an actress, but this was, a horror thing in front of, tons of people that was going to be on Shudder, and she was really nervous. The original marathon, she was scripted and it was really awkward, but, she did have fun. And so then after that, they're like, the dynamic between you and Joe Bob is just so great. You guys just be yourselves. And I think, people really love it.
Yeah, their bond is really like, you can see, like, not just through the script or anything, you can see it on the show, but also she has lots of posts and videos of them on like her social medias, and we've met them in person and stuff. You can really see how they interact. They have like this really good friendship, and it really shows throughout the show. One of the reasons why I think it's so popular.
And then that marathon, it broke the internet. It
yeah.
literally like overloaded Shudder's servers. It broke Twitter. It was crazy. And so, people were calling for more, like, we need more. And then thankfully we got the series, which we're going to talk about a lot more. I do want to say hi to my friend I Like Scary, who also has a great channel, a lot of really fun streams lately over on that channel. So be sure to check them out. And yeah, I want to talk also a little bit more about Darcy, because, Joe Bob has always had a male girl.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of clips of Honey, who I know is Darcy's favorite male girl.
Rusty.
And I remember Rusty very well.
Yeah, that's the one I remember.
There are some other ones as well, but Joe Bob's always had a male girl, and they always kind of, give him a little bit of shit, roll their eyes at his jokes. But Darcy, I feel like she brings her own horror fandom to it. And I like that she likes, again, a lot of movies that a lot of people don't necessarily like, a lot of early 2000s stuff. She prefers the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake to the original, which might be blasphemous to some, but there are other fans who feel the same way. So I feel like she really represents, an important part of the horror community.
Well, Joe Bob himself said that she really evolved with the role. Originally, the mail girls would come in, they'd read the mail and stuff, and he would usually, like, he was younger back then, so he kind of hit on them, and then they'd like turn him down, and it was all kind of a bit. But now, and it's no shade on them at all, they didn't have the social media that we have nowadays. Like, I mean, the internet kind of existed during Monster Vision, but it wasn't what it is now. It's AOL chat rooms and stuff. But Darcy really takes it upon herself to answer and reply and to promote and just to talk to all the fans. Like, every time an episode of the Drive-In airs, she's on there tweeting and retweeting and just talking to us all, making it one big experience, like that we're a big group and we're watching it together. She goes all out for a lot of these things. She
chooses the letters he reads. She actually is a part. She
Yeah.
actually is the male girl.
Exactly. She lives up to that title.
Yes, absolutely. And on top of that, she has gone above and beyond to give us mutants the things that she knows we want to see. We wanted to see, I got to get this ready for y'all. We wanted to see Hogzilla. Oh, hold on. Uh-oh. I got a picture of Darcy up there still. Hold on. Hogzilla! 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 We wanted to see this because we knew it was like this lost Joe Bob movie, and I'd heard about it for years, but I'm like, why can't you find it anywhere? It hadn't been finished.
Yeah.
She actually got in touch with the people who had made Hogzilla and helped them to finish the movie, encouraged them to do so, and made it to where we could see it premiere on Shudder. Yeah, it's a low budget movie. It's not great, but it was something special that we got to see this movie with Joe Bob in it. Like, it's kind of amazing that it happened, and it happened because of her. Yeah,
she is a producer of the movie in a sense because she helped make it, like, get made. Like, it was already mostly filmed and all that stuff, but she helped it get finished up and found a home for it on Shudder. So
yeah, she's great, and she's helped put out like Blu-rays of some old JBB stuff that we've gotten from like their Patreon and stuff. But she's worked incredibly hard. Even this last the premiere of season 4, she was the one who brought back his original male girl Honey for him, and she brought Svengoolie on, which is incredible. And she knows her shit, and not only her, but her son, who we haven't seen on the show, but they do talk about him a lot. Her son does a lot of the research to help prepare for the episodes. So like he'll give a lot of research or things that people might be interested in for them to talk about on the show.
Yeah, I have to say Darcy is definitely winning at motherhood. She raised that kid right. Like, I'm impressed.
Incredible. But and one other thing before we move on from Darcy. Hey, hold on a sec. My brother is in the chat and he mentions the lizard. Who is a lizard? Now, I don't think you guys need to be told, But I think we all love Ernie, who Ernie is actually the director of the show's Pet.
Yeah.
And I love that we've seen Ernie grow up. On the
So
first
small.
marathon, Ernie was so tiny. Ernie's a chunker now.
Big chunka.
And the season 4 one, I felt like they'd have a little bit of his terrarium, and you would see Ernie like rushing over to the edge, like, "Hey, get me in the frame."
Yeah, he was like really just like slutting it up with the poses, and anytime there was just a little bit of aquarium, he would be in that corner. Like he'd move. I don't know. Like
I don't.
Maybe they were doing a trick to like make him do that. I don't know. Maybe they found out a way to kind of direct him because usually he just kind of lays there and
just sleeps.
Kind of chill. But this time he was really active. So we got a lot of Ernie.
It's hard not to anthropomorphize Ernie because he's got so much personality, and I just cannot help but notice him when he's doing adorable things in the background. And Ernie has been a part of some iconic episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Tetsu Ernie, that was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Ernie also has his cheese snacks in the background.
I want to get those.
Every episode.
They look delicious.
Yeah, so we love Ernie. Somebody else we love that I want to talk about who makes the show great. And, Joe Bob said this. He said a lot of times people talk about atmosphere. And they talk about it in a kind of ambiguous way, when a lot of atmosphere is accomplished by production design. And yet the production designer is usually somebody who gets kind of left out. That's part of why we have an award for it on the Oscars. Mm-hmm. Because production design is essential to creating that atmosphere, just like music and so many of the other things that we tend to acknowledge a little bit more. Well, the production designer of The Last Drive-In is Yuki. Yuki makes the silver bolos. Yuki decorates the background. Yuki is just delightful. And I want to clarify, he is not a spooky.
Spooky Yuki.
He is not a spooky.
Yeah, Yuki, what's a spooky?
He doesn't know.
This movie is very confusing. Yuki's great, and I love when they bring him on. He adds a lot to it. He's funny. He plays off of Joe Bob like great. Doing a great job. The production looks amazing. I feel like even though I don't know what the budget was for Monster Vision compared to The Last Drive-In, but it looks even better than Monster Vision's. Like, The Last Drive-In is Joe Bob's best show. Like, I love all the old shows. I love them. They're amazing. But this latest incarnation of Joe Bob is the best incarnation. And a lot of it has to do with Yuki.
And I just saw a question. Gory, when is the Life of Darcy movie going to happen? I don't know about a Life of Darcy movie. I do know that Danny, and this is not confirmed, it's not even in pre-production, but Danny has written a script called Gory B Movie, where he would like Darcy to play Gory B Movie, me, in a perfect world, because I'm not an actress.
Hey, she just flew up to Seattle to do like an autopsy scene for like a Jason fan film, so I think she'd be down. Like I said, I even gave her a script. She said it sounded awesome, but obviously it's scheduling and money, so I can't promise anything at the moment. But I am trying like hell.
Something we forgot to mention when we were talking about Darcy, because there's so much to say about Darcy, is she's also a great cosplayer. And I always look forward to, like, what is she going to cosplay? Because she usually brings out cosplay during the second movie. And so it's always fun to be like, well, what's she going to do? And she's done so many things. I loved her Svengoolie.
That's what I was going to say. Her and Svengoolie, that was like great. Just boom. She nailed it.
But here's a few highlights. I loved her wolf cop. It's adorable.
Yeah.
We loved her costume for the stuff.
Ooh, yeah. She's one of the models for it.
Hot damn. And I think one of my favorites was her Mary Lou, not only because it looked phenomenal. They had a prom for her because she didn't get a prom in high school, but it's also her favorite movie, so you could tell that it was something that was very special to her.
Yeah, I love the ending of that. They all just kind of dance and have a good time, and she's the prom queen.
Yeah, and it was really special. You can tell, like, not only do they love their fans so much, but they love each other. This is a group of people who genuinely enjoy working on the show, who genuinely love each other, who celebrate each other and celebrate great movies.
Yeah, and they're all fans of horror. This isn't just a paycheck for them. They all love what they're doing. And it really shows. And that's why I said this is one of the best things. I don't know if TNT, Monster Vision, like everybody that worked on that, loved horror. I know that TNT is pretty wishy-washy. They loved having wrestling, but then they hated having wrestling. Now they have AEW again, so they love it again. And it's, when you get big networks and people in charge, not everybody on top is like really about the product. They're about making the money. But I know with the Shudder and the Last Drive-In, everybody who's working on that loves what they're doing.
And I'm going to say that about Shudder in general, too. Shudder, if you're not already subscribed, it's super cheap. There's tons of good coupon codes. JBB has one on his website. It's $4 a month. It's Netflix for horror fans, and they genuinely care about what they're producing. They produce great horror stuff. They've given so many great horror creators platforms. I also love, like, the Boulet Brothers Dragula. They, produce, distribute, indie movies. They're salt of the earth.
Yeah, they're great, and they love what they do. That's why they are strictly horror, and I'm a big fan of Shudder. They recently brought in some of the Adam Green movies in Holliston. Oh, maybe Shudder Holliston 3, season 3. We're all hoping for it.
And again, Shudder, like, I would never expect Netflix to retweet me or reply to anything I've said, but Shudder follows me. They've retweeted me. I'm sure they follow a lot of you guys. Like, they care about the people who enjoy their service.
Speaking of retweeting and stuff, Darcy herself retweeted some of our posts and commented that we were doing the stream. I'm not saying she's watching because she's a busy woman, but that was super sweet of her. She didn't have to do that.
Hey, and Maverick Media is here. Also, congratulations to my new friend, Maverick. Maverick has recently become a permanent member of the Lethal Collective, which is a great crew of guys who love horror, craving something scary, Night Watch, Zone, Killjoy Jake, Fate Decided, and now Maverick Media. They had a great stream the other day. A lot of fun. And also check out Maverick's channel. Great horror content there.
I think there's somebody that we should also talk about.
Well, hold on. I'm not quite done yet. So we're talking about some of our favorite cosplays of Darcy. Back when loved her Frankenhooker, I was a big fan of that one.
I loved both of them from Gator Bait. I loved her Gator cosplay. And yes, I loved the whole poster cosplay that really made Joe Bob happy as well.
And this was one of my favorites too, when she was Audrey from Little Shop of Horrors. Really loved that one.
Yes.
Yeah, she's had some great ones.
Yeah, she's good. Got skills. That's one of the reasons why it motivated me to cosplay as her.
And here is one of my favorite people in the show. This is John Brennan. I think you guys know. I follow John Brennan on on Twitter. And there's a lot more to John Brennan than I think we even see on the show. John Brennan does all of the music for the show. He writes it. He plays most of it. He's incredible. Also, if you want some of this music, so you, like me, can rock out to the Spookies rap while you're cleaning your house or detailing your car or whatever, you can do that. Go to his Twitter page. He'll post links to where they're like 99 cents. And it's totally worth it to support John Brennan, support The Last Drive-In, and get yourself some awesome tunes. He also has a whole CD of just music that's been on the Last Drive-In. Incredible, super sweet guy. He responds to fans who, tweet about him or his music. He just had, I think, a birthday the other day. Yeah. Super sweet guy, talented guy, funny guy. Big fan of John Brennan. Big fan.
He's a guy I would like to go to medieval times with.
Yes.
Apparently he does that. Reminds me of the cable guy. Let's go to medieval times. But no, he's great. Like I said, there's they even have a bigger record with more songs. So a lot of his great music on there. Check it out. He was nominated for an Oscar for his music because I think it's one of the reasons why the Last Drive-In is so great and personal as well, because all that music is very personal. And it's funny because sometimes him and Joe Bob will joke about what songs they can play with copyrights and stuff, and he's like, "Well, I can come up with something close." I always love what he comes up with. So.
And that's even more like Monster Vision. You would hear a lot of the crew laughing in the background. He would basically be kind of talking to them a lot when he was talking about the movie. But it's on The Last Drive-In, it's even more transparent. Like, we know Yuki, we know John, we see Ernie, who is Austin, the director's pet. So even though I don't think we've ever seen Austin on the show, like, I feel like I know these people who are involved in the show. A lot of them are also on Twitter and are part of the tweetathons, the Mutant Fam tweetathons on there. So yeah, it really is kind of like this family, and they have graciously invited all of us mutants to be a part of it.
Yeah. Annabelle Roman says that Joe Bob needs his own museum to celebrate his life, and I agree.
I agree.
I made a really cool tribute video.
And would you like to play that?
I would love to play that. I think that's a great segue into it.
All right. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
John Irving Bloom, who we all know better as Joe Bob Briggs, has had a long and successful career in horror, but horror didn't just make his career also helped make horror the way we know it and love it. Horror fans have always been considered by mainstream society as weirdos and nerds. Joe Bob was always there to remind us that horror is fucking cool. Not only did he get the hottest male girls, but he had the coolest guests. He was just a great inside voice to the things we wanted to know about horror.
Written by Joe Bob Briggs, directed by Joe Bob Briggs, produced by Joe Bob Briggs. I'll be working the camera, I'll be working the sound. Special effects by Joe Bob Briggs.
Not only is he a legendary and iconic horror host, an esteemed film critic, and an author. Not just books, but John Bloom also wrote tons of great articles. Way before the internet, Joe Bob Briggs was spreading the great word of horror, letting us know what movies we didn't want to miss, and also giving us the drive-in totals so we knew what to expect. A movie I didn't think sounded too good until Joe Bob told me that there was 8 decapitations and 7 breasts and hamster foo. But with his own amazing shows like Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater and TNT's Monster Vision, and now thanks to Shudder we got The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs, and may the drive-in never die. He has helped keep horror hosts alive. Maybe they're not on cable anymore, so what? Streaming's the way of the future. And now there's tons of horror hosts on YouTube, and I have to say, most of them, if not all of them, were inspired by Joe Bob Briggs. So on behalf of the horror community, here at Horror Addicts, we present you this Oscar for a lifetime achievement in horror.
Oh, hey, there we go. I'm gonna fix the audio again. All right, so yeah, Dan made that tribute when we gave Joe Bob the Lifetime Achievement Award on the Oscars, which if you haven't seen it, Oscars is one of our biggest events we do each year. It is a horror award show conceived by the brilliant Danny Knightmare.
And thanks to Darcy, Joe Bob made a really small but great cameo on the last Oscars, where he presented Barbara Crampton for Best Actress.
Yeah, and you got a little compliment there from our girl Ariel. By the way, Ariel, I don't say this enough, but you watch nearly every stream, every video. Your support means so much to me. We go back to Horror Addicts, girls. So, yeah, the friendship of Gory and Ariel will never die.
Thank you, Ariel. And yes, thank you for everything. You follow us well on both Horror Addicts and Gory's channel. We appreciate your support.
And not just, there's a lot of you who we go way back with, and we appreciate you guys, Beth and Ben, and a lot of you that I've just met. There's always, this is not an exclusive clique. There's always room for more friends. So I love that I become friends with Maverick and Harley and so many of you that are new friends. It means so much. You guys are doing for me now what Joe Bob did for me when I was a dorky goth girl in high school and had no fucking friends, and he was my only friend. Now I have all of you guys, and it makes you feel a little less like a weirdo. And even if you are a weirdo, you're a collective of weirdos now.
And that's, I think, one of the reasons why we fan out for Joe Bob and Darcy so much. Is because our goal on YouTube has always been to really help the horror community come together. That's one of the reasons why we did the Oscars. It's one of the reasons why Gory does the creepy channel Crawl. It's one of the where we come up with the stuff we try to include in, we want you to find other channels, not just ours, that you love. We want you to find movies that you've never seen that you might love. We always want to do that. And Darcy, especially online, the presence is great for that. And Joe Bob too. They always are spreading that type of love for the horror community. In fact, that's why the Silver Bowls were such a big deal, because that was just a big way of just rewarding a lot of the YouTubers and podcasters and just anybody who was out there making horror content. And that's why I think one of the reasons why we like them so much.
And just like with movies, my channel, the reason I started my own channel separate from Horror Addicts, because Horror Addicts is intended to be everything horror. And I really just wanted a special little corner of the internet where I celebrated forgotten B movies that I want to have that special edition treatment that movies that like Halloween get, that don't get talked about enough. And I also want to do that for creators that don't get talked about enough, because there's a lot of really talented people on YouTube that, I know you guys would love. And that's why I'm always telling you about great creators that are here in the chat that you need to check out, because they're as good as the big ones.
Exactly. I love B movies. I married one. But yeah, I do the full moon reviews because I love cheesy, campy horror movies. I remember I've got some comments from people full moon. You should watch movies that are better, like Psycho and all these other The Exorcist. And I love Psycho and The Exorcist, I do, but I love all kinds of horror movies.
Going back to Joe Bob a bit, something that I think made him stand out, because I think every horror host they need that thing that is uniquely them, from Vampira to Elvira, Zachary. You all need, like, what's your shtick? What is your thing that makes you stand out? Your gimmick, so to speak. And I think for Joe Bob, it was always the drive-in totals. That was the thing that, I'd watched Monster Vision with Penn and Teller, and Penn and Teller was awesome. It was more basically what Penn and Teller does in their live shows, brought to this platform for horror films and sci-fi films. But Joe Bob, like, I'd never heard of a drive-in totals now, and I think everybody, we've done it in ours. We've counted kills. I know, obviously you guys know Dead Meat.
Mhm.
There's a lot of great channels who do that, but I feel like I'd never seen that before Joe Bob did it.
Not that I know of. I mean, maybe some churches went around saying why it was bad, but then got their opposite reaction because they would say you shouldn't watch this movie because it says the bad word this many times or whatever. So
Yeah.
maybe they might have did it first. But
There was like a Mr. Sleaze channel. I think they would tell you all the nudity in movies.
yeah, and I mean, we're all guilty of
Website.
slightly copying this to our own degree. Like, if I'm reviewing a slasher movie, I'll tell you what nudity's in it and how many kills. If it's not a type of movie like that, I usually don't remember to bother to talk about it because it's irrelevant. But yeah, Joe Bob, exactly. He would do that, and I'd get me pumped for movies. I'm like, even if I was just the Monster Vision version where I know they're gonna censor most of this, I would make sure I would hunt it down on VHS uncensored just to see the stuff that he told me about.
And that's the thing too. Like, as if you're a critic, you need, what is your criteria for what makes it a, he goes by 4 stars. So 4-star movie. What is your criteria? And some people will really tell you, like, these are the things that are important when I review a movie. And Joe Bob's pretty clear. You get 4 stars if you are a drive-in movie. What is a drive-in movie? A drive-in movie has blood, beasts, and breasts. He almost always will knock off a star, a half a star.
If there's no nudity.
No nudity, yeah. No
If
breasts.
it's too slow or boring, half a star usually gets knocked off. There's no nudity. Like, there's things that you can lose stars. You start off with 4, but then you can lose as it goes.
But yeah, I mean, if he thinks it's a drive-in movie, it gets 4 stars. Movies that, Siskel and Ebert and such might not even give any stars. I think they give half a star for Hellraiser, which is insane. Joe Bob, 4 stars. You get it all. You get sex and blood and gore and a great story. So yeah, it's a drive-in movie.
So Ebert did give Charles Band's Laser Blast 2.5 stars, the same amount that he gave Harry. Wow, so that's kind of weird. But most of the time, those critics hate those movies.
So originally, the drive-in totals, they would talk about obviously the kills, and he was fairly specific in what you could expect, like what kind of kills there would be. But also the different kinds of fighting. There's been all kinds of fighting, like baby foo, all kinds of foo. Gosh, I can't think of a lot of them right now.
Hamster foo.
Cat foo. There's all kinds of foo.
Fetus foo.
Which is just some kind of fighting. And then there's aardvarking, which is whatever sex is in there, how many breasts you're going to get, and sometimes it's an odd number of breasts.
Yeah, one girl, she only showed 1.
Something that he has introduced to the last drive-in is the Drive-In Academy Awards, where he'll talk about the people who are in the movie that really stand out and provide some of their quotes.
Yeah, exactly. Say why they're so great. They're either the director or an actor or whatever. You usually give that to them. Shine some light on them and why they made this movie so good. Thanks, Movie Masker. I am full of puns. That's one of my things. Bad jokes and puns, which I guess are almost the same thing.
Yeah, so that's one of the things. And then we also talked about the letters, which I was always too shy to write a letter back in the day. But yeah, we've kind of had a letter read when we get in their Oscars. So.
Yeah, they actually accepted their Oscars for horror. In fact, what you were saying, how Joe Bob is handsome, he's still very handsome. He won the 2020 Horror Hottie. Darcy won 19 and 20. So, I mean...
Yeah, he's only a year younger than Elvira, but he's still got it just like she does.
Yeah. Well, they both turned 40 very recently. So.
Ben, thank you for reminding me of what I was going to talk about next. Ben says he even has a mangled dong expert in Felissa Rose and Lost Drive-In. The guests they choose to be on the show are incredible. They've had some amazing people. We love Felissa Rose, the mangled dong expert, who is also the star of Sleepaway Camp.
We've met her. She is so sweet. She is a sweetheart. We watched Slumber Party we watched Sleepaway Camp with her, and even though we kind of heckled it with her, she had a blast and just laughed and did the same. Like, it was great.
And she signed my curling iron.
Yeah. It said, "Up yours, Felissa Rose." So she's amazing. She's such a sweetheart. I think it's cool that the guy from Can't Kill Yourself, CKY, like, had a crush on her and, like, kind of stalked her. But since he was also semi-famous, it was okay. And they, like, you know, now they have a bunch of beautiful kids and all that. And happily ever after. She's great.
And nice to see Fairpoint Station here. By the way, guys, we're about halfway through, so if you haven't already, please hack that thumbs up button and let us know that you want to see more streams like this. But other guests that we really like, Barbara Crampton was a really good one because she also watches it on Twitter. The Boulay Brothers was a good one. I think Joe Bob said that was one of his favorite guests.
Yeah, they were great and all in costume as well. Sanguli was a great way to start, seeing Honey come back, so I love those ones already. They had the big slumber party with Adam Green and a bunch of his people like Kane Hodder and stuff, so that was amazing. They've had a lot of great guests. Like, I'm always looking for it. They had Bruce Campbell, who I fucking love.
Even during the era of the pandemic, when obviously they couldn't have people at their cabin in the woods, they found a way to make it fun. They had them on the TV that was dressed up to kind of look like a person.
Mm-hmm. And it worked way better than the WWE's like camera audience, like on screens. Like, it looked way better than Joe Bob. He had like a body underneath the TV.
I'm so happy for Podcast in the Woods. Boomer is going to go meet Felissa Rose at MonsterCon this year. That's super cool. By the way, we will be at Crypticon Seattle at the end of May. If you are going to that event, please come say hi.
May 20th, 21st, and 22nd. So.
That was the 27th.
Pretty sure it's the 20th?
I don't know.
We'll check it out.
We'll be there. Crypticon Seattle. Look it up online. Anyway, we will be there. We'll be on a number of panels. So if you are going, please come say hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Movie Massacre Show says Barbara Crampton is their favorite horror actor. I love her positivity. I was so happy to see her in the lead role in Jacob's Wife. She was incredible in that, and she won an Oscar for that.
Which, like I said, Joe Bob made a cameo to announce her as the winner, so that was great.
Yeah, incredible guests, and you can tell that the guests they have in the show are just as passionate about horror as them. Also, I love, one of my favorite filmmakers is Frank Henenlotter. When he had Frank Henenlotter on to talk about Frankenhooker, that was really special.
Yeah, Henenlotter is amazing, and I loved his like guerrilla style of filming sometimes back in like the New York City where you just get footage without a permit, but I don't care. It was inspiring. Like, do what you gotta do to make your movie.
Nice to see you, the Horror Den. Good to see you here. Another great horror creator, guys.
Like and subscribe to each other as well, not just us.
So let's talk about, and we've talked about our history with Joe Bob. We've talked about the history of Joe Bob. We've talked about the history of the show. We've talked about people on the show. Let's talk about maybe what we want to see. Because we just started season 4. And it doesn't even end at season 4. Because you know you're going to get specials. There's always a Halloween one. There's always a Christmas one. And then there's a whole bunch of random ones. What do you want to see?
It doesn't have to be in season 4. But if it's not in season 4, it needs to be the next Halloween special. One word, one number. Halloween 3. Halloween 3, all right? We got to make that happen.
Yes, I know it would make Darcy over the moon. Also, when they do Halloween 3, I really hope they bring in Tom Atkins because she adores Tom Atkins. But they have said they're not going to have Halloween 3 in season 4, but that does not mean they're not going to get it. And in the past, the issue was that Shudder could not get the rights to it. Same reason why they didn't show Phantasm 2. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to do it for the Halloween special this year.
I think so, too. At this point, it is kind of like this ongoing gag and joke that he doesn't want to have it, which he definitely does. I think they have to kind of do it on a special, you know? So I think that would be perfect for the next Halloween special.
Also, nice to see you, Canadian Crypt. I really hope you come to Crypticon this year. You're going to see Movie Massacre. Queenie usually goes. We'll be there. We would love to hang out with you.
Yeah. And special, last Halloween Hootenanny, which is the last special. That's the one where he accepted his Oscar. So check that out if you haven't.
Yeah, so Halloween 3, definitely a big one. What are some other movies that you would like to see them do on The Last Drive-In? And you guys in the chat, too. Nice to see you, Necessary Distraction.
Evil Dead. I'd like to see Evil Dead.
And they just added those to Shudder, so we know that it's possible for them to get them. I would love to see them do Evil Dead and bring back Bruce Campbell and, if possible, get Sam Raimi.
Or at least Ted Raimi.
Yes, Ted Raimi. Ted Raimi is very... He tends to get a little overshadowed by his brother, but Ted Raimi, God, he has been in so many movies. He's done so much amazing stunt work. Just incredible. Remember Sexy Ted Raimi and Candyman?
Yeah, that was weird. He's all like leather jacket, like he's... sorry, I love Ted Raimi, but unless he's wearing like like a Demonite suit or something, he's not scary or tough. But I love him in Candyman.
That's part of.
I think if they do Evil Dead 2, especially, they should try and get
That's part of what I'm looking forward to with Multiverse of Madness. Is I'm hoping there's a Ted Raimi and Bruce Campbell cameo.
Well, I know there's gonna be a Bruce Campbell cameo because he's already leaked it, and he was dressed up like Doctor Strange. Now that doesn't mean he isn't Doctor Strange or is. He might be a multiverse version, or he just might be dressed up like him for the heck of it. I don't know. Maybe there was like this big fan theory that in the original Raimi Spider-Man that he was the Chameleon, which is a character who always like changed how he looked in Spider-Man because it just, even though he wasn't changing how he looked, he was playing different roles in each movie. So I don't know. I just can't wait to see the Multiverse of Madness. It's gonna be great.
So my girl Harley wants to see them do Summer Party Massacre. I think that'd be awesome because they've already done part 2 and the first one's incredible. My buddy Tony wants Critters. You know I'm here for Critters.
Yeah.
I am here for Critters, especially Critters 2. I would love that. Ariel, my buddy, wants to see them do Monster Squad. That would be fun.
That would be fun.
And Canadian Crypt, great choice. Trick or Treat. And I have not seen Livid, but you know, Joe Bob is very good about exposing us to a lot of different kinds of horror films. He's great about showing foreign ones. Maybe it's one we'll see.
They just did Anthropophagus, and that was a huge one for me because I love that movie, and I always like try to find a reason to bring it up at Crypticon, like on a panel. I like trying to talk about it at least once while I'm there because I want people to see that movie. So I'm glad he showed it.
Brandon wants to see Tremors. You guys know what I'm gonna say. I say that I talk about this movie way too much. I want to see Uninvited.
I want Uninvited. And Joysticks. Honestly, it's a drive-in movie. It's not a horror movie, but it is a drive-in movie.
Uninvited, the cat that picks up a smaller cat, is my favorite drive-in B movie. I would love to have him get Graydon Clark, the director of that movie, and Joysticks on. I think that would be so. I would mark out hard for that. Another drive-in B movie I love is The Suckling.
Yeah.
I think that would make for some good entertainment. It's just one not enough people have seen.
If they're gonna do anything more modern, PG Gorman would be a good one.
That would be fun.
I like it when he does older, more obscure ones.
And I hope that, you know, talking more about what we want to see, I'd love to see some more black and white movies. That's how I got started in horror, is my mom would show me a lot of those. So yeah, some more, like, you know, Elvira did on her 40th special, she did House on Haunted Hill, which is her favorite movie. You know, some more like that would be great. I love The Bad Seed. I love The Incredible Shrinking Man. A lot of those movies would be awesome.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind watching those. Also,
Movie Massacre wants to see Feast. I love that movie.
Oh, what is that awesome Spanish movie? Santa Gria. I can't pronounce it, but it is a really good movie.
The Sangria one, Santa Sangria.
Santa Sangria, I believe. Yeah, that movie is twisted and weird. I don't know if it's even a horror movie, but I mean it is. There's a killer and there's a lot of violence, but definitely one I would love to see on the last drive-in.
A foreign film I'd love to see on there is Baby Blood, which not enough people have seen. That came out in the 90s. It's a French film, but essentially this woman is impregnated by this alien creature, and at first she's horrified because it needs her to kill people to feed it. And then they kind of develop this weird, very close bond. But you need to watch it for yourself. It's gory. It's amazing. I know JBB would love it.
Beast. That is a good one.
Repo, Necessary Distraction. That's a great one. And it would be awesome to see them get Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward, Brandon. And yeah, actually, Ariel, I love Class of Nukem High. It's like, I think, my favorite trauma movie. I love those. And podcast says it's Santa Sangria.
Yeah. I would love that one. That would be a good one.
Yeah, if they do Tremors, they need to get Michael Gross for sure.
Or Bacon.
Where should Bacon?
Definitely want Bacon. What do you like better though? If you're gonna watch a Bacon movie, you want Tremors or Friday the 13th?
If I want to watch it for Bacon, I'm gonna watch Tremors because he has, I feel like, a bigger part in that.
Yeah.
And Kevin from Haunted by Horror wants Sodium Babies. Never heard of that one.
Seen Zombie Babies.
That movie's terrible,
It's
Danny.
a crappy version of The Suckling, which is saying a lot.
I also think it would be awesome if you could get Cassandra Peterson, aka Elvira, on there, and they did an Elvira night where they showed like Elvira's Haunted Hills or Elvira Mistress of the Dark, which she did on her show, but it would be awesome just to have her there and have him interview her as a guest.
Yeah, I would like that. I'd love to see like a cross promotion, maybe like where they share it and they both have a movie. she presents a movie and he's kind of her guest, but then he presents a movie and she's kind of that'd be cool. Crossover.
Absolutely.
That'd be a great special. I think.
Harley, very good point. We do get bacon butt in Friday the 13th, and I do love me some bacon butt. You actually get full bacon dong in Wild Things.
Movie sucks.
There's a lot of bacon, and you know there's always room for more bacon.
And then in Leprechaun, you get bacon.
Yeah, bacon. And as Necessary Distraction said, there is no such thing as too much bacon. So, and Brandon wants to see a double feature of Killjoy 1 and Killjoy Goes to Hell. I think they should just skip to the good Killjoys and just not do 1 or 2, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I don't know. Those are movies that you really want to roast. Like, I reviewed the first 2 Killjoy movies, but I was not nice. But Killjoy 3, great. Killjoy 4 and 5, very entertaining. But that's funny because they make it so those movies are just movies within the franchise. They're like, oh yeah, those are just movies.
Boomer wants them to do Tokyo Gore Police, but is worried it might be too out there. You know, they have done Dead or Alive by Takashi Miike, so I don't think it's too out there for them. But speaking of ones that are really out there, it would be awesome if they did Happiness of the Categories. I'm probably saying that wrong. But that's another Takashi Miike one that's just weird, or even Gozu. The Japanese film House. That would be a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
And also the American House that stars
that would
William
actually
Hat.
be a great double feature. Do
Both houses. Hey, and my buddy Steven, Craving Something Scary, is here. Nice to see you. Awesome, yeah. More bacon. More Henenlotter. I'm always down for more Henenlotter. So they've done Basket Case, they've done Frankenhooker, but just all the Henenlotter would be good. You know what else would be great? More Peter Jackson films, like Meet the Feebles.
Yeah, Meet the Feebles would actually be Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Yeah, that'd be a great one as well. We love that movie.
Yeah.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. I wouldn't mind seeing that on there.
And just for my friend Steven, Stew! Heads of the Family. You know, I do think they should do more Full Moon. They haven't had Charles Band on there, have they?
No. So
they've had Lloyd Kaufman.
So I say throw Charles Band on there and do one of his movies. And Head of the Family is a good one.
Yeah, my favorite Full Moon. I mean, they've done Castle Freak, which is one of my favorites, but I also love Shrunken Heads. I think Shrunken Heads is really fun.
Shrunken Heads is great. Yeah, there's a lot of Full Moon movies that I wouldn't mind seeing on there. I honestly, if they get Gary Busey on there, Gingerbread Man's fine too. Gingerbread Man.
And everyone in the chat, if you are enjoying the stream, you want to support the stream, be sure to hack that thumbs up button. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any upcoming streams. I am doing a stream this Wednesday with my friend who's in the chat there, Craving Something Scary. And we're going to be ranking all of the ghost faces. I have a pretty good idea what his number one's going to be, but you know, I don't know for sure.
Rank them ghost faces.
I'm gonna.
Design. Masks.
For me, I have my own criteria of what makes a great ghost face. I got the hiccups. Oh, I really like Harley's suggestion, Dead Alive. That is a great one. God, they haven't done that, have they?
No, this is weird.
Do Dead Alive, get Peter Jackson on there. Make it a double feature of Meet the Feebles.
Yeah.
Or even Bad Taste.
Yeah, Bad Taste.
Those
you can't really go wrong with all those.
And I'm always down for a butt demon movie. So they do Bad Milo. I'm here for it.
Yeah, we love Bad Milo. I saw that was at the dollar store. I'm like, what? So I bought like every copy and then gave it out for Christmas to everybody.
All right, guys, we're going to start wrapping it up here. Be sure to get in your last minute questions or thoughts about Joe Bob or anything else we've talked about tonight. So we're going to wrap it up in about 5 minutes so you guys can get your last minute questions for me or for Danny or just your comments about the last drive-in in.
Even though it's not quite a drive-in movie, Face Off would be great. Joe Bob is in that.
He is in it. What if they did movies that Joe Bob is in? Because he's
Casino.
Sand is too long. He is in that. And Casino. Got a few parts.
Yeah.
And wasn't he cut out of Gremlins too?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly.
I agree, Boomer. Intruder is great. Danny's a big fan of the movie Intruder. He did a great review of it over on Horror Addicts. It's really good. Necessary Distraction, they actually did Society, and that was a really good episode.
Yeah. That is. They talked about shunting.
Shunting.
Darcy's an expert shunter, apparently.
Brandon wants to know why half the episodes of the show are missing in the seasons. The reason why is Shudder, in order to have more movies, they will remove old things from their catalog so that they can bring more content on. And so if it's a movie that JBB has already done on the show, yeah, they're going to have to take it down. However, there is a playlist called, I think, Just the Joe Bob. And so you can find the movie on your own and still watch the Joe Bob commentary bits. So do check that out. Even if they've removed the movie, usually you can still check out just the Joe Bob bits.
And if you can't find just the Joe Bob of that particular movie, contact Darcy. She's usually pretty good about that. She likes to be told because then she can tell Shudder, and they can at least try and get that on there as soon as possible.
And Boomer said he's in Scare Package. And actually this year, Shudder is going to be premiering Scare Package 2. I don't know if he's going to be in that again. I mean, because he was killed off. But, the guy who plays Rad Chad's coming back, so we never know. But I have a feeling we're going to see the premiere of Scare Package 2 on the last drive-in. Also, speaking of movies that they are in, both of them will be in The Barn 2, which just had a successful Indiegogo. That movie is coming out this year, so I'm really excited to see both of them in that movie.
Yeah, it'd be great to see them in a movie together.
And yay, Ariel's going to check out the Ghostface Kills ranking. It'll be awesome to see you there. All right, anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
Drive-in will never die.
The drive-in will never die. Thank you guys so much for watching, commenting, joining us in the chat, and celebrating Joe Bob and the last drive-in with us. And until we meet again,
Blessed be.
Blessed be.